Hello, everyone. Perhaps within each of us lies a hidden shadow, a deep corner we rarely dare to look directly at. It is the instinct, lying silently like darkness beneath the sunlight, yet always present. That instinct includes greed, selfishness, anger, desire, deep cravings aimed at satisfying ourselves. Deep inside every person is a yearning to live in pleasure, to experience delight, to enjoy what we call short-lived joy. That temporary pleasure is like a hook dipped in honey. We bite into it and get trapped. Once tasted, humans keep chasing more. That feeling of happiness doesn't last, but it is enough to push us into an endless pursuit. From this pursuit, conflicts arise in society. When everyone wants to hold more, others must get less. When greed knows no limit, resentment grows. From a group to a tribe to a nation, ambition, anger, and obsession make people stop seeing each other as humans, but as obstacles on their path to satisfaction. And so war begins. War does not arise by chance. It is the result of 5 root causes in the human mind, which Buddhism calls greed, hatred, delusion, pride, and doubt. Greed is wanting more, money, land, power, or even others. It is never satisfied, and the more it has, the more it wants. People start wars to seize land, to claim rule, to plunder resources, to build mighty empires for themselves. Hatred is anger and resentment. When feeling insulted, harmed, or avenged, people get angry. This anger rises like a fire, spreading beyond one person to the community, then exploding into riots, killings, and war. Delusion is ignorance, not seeing clearly. People fail to realize impermanence and cling stubbornly to emptiness. Because of delusion, they believe they must fight, sacrifice, and kill to achieve happiness. But happiness built on blood and tears cannot last. Pride is arrogance. We think our nation is the center of the world, supreme, the cradle of civilization. From this pride, we look down on others as inferior. Pride causes invasions, empires built on the backs of the weak, cultures trampled just because they are not us. Doubt is mistrust. When doubting each other, people think the worst. When trust disappears, rumors, misunderstandings, and conspiracies become reasons for war. Many conflicts start simply because of fear that the other will harm me first. Looking back at history, almost every war, big or small, ancient or modern, contains at least one or even all 5 of these causes. But perhaps the more important question is, how can war no longer arise in each person's mind? The answer lies in awareness. When we realize we are greedy, we can learn to let go. When we are angry, we can learn to breathe and look within at our pain. When we are deluded, we need to learn, open our hearts, and pause to observe. When we are proud, we remind ourselves that everyone has their own suffering. When we doubt, we start by listening. If everyone learns to make peace with themselves, then the world outside will have one less person to ignite war. There is an old story. A king once wanted to stop chaos in his kingdom. He asked a monk, "How can the people stop fighting?" The monk replied, "To bring peace to the world, start with the king's own heart. If the king no longer wants to fight, there will be no reason for enemies to rise." War, ultimately, does not start with weapons. It begins from a thought, and from another thought, full of understanding and love, peace can begin to sprout. If you listen closely inside yourself, you might hear a whisper, "Let go." Because only when we let go of desires, hatred, and delusion do we truly become free. But how to let go? This question seems simple, yet is one of the hardest things humans face. Because if letting go means liberation, everyone wants liberation. But that very want is another form of greed. We want to be light, to be peaceful, yet the more we try to hold on, the more we fall into the trap of craving. In truth, letting go doesn't mean giving up everything. It doesn't mean escaping the world, abandoning home, or rejecting life. Letting go is an inner act, a change in how we see things, phenomena, and ourselves. Imagine you are holding a hot stone tightly. Your hand hurts and burns, but because you think it's precious, you dare not release it. Only when you stop, observe the pain, and dare to open your hand will you feel relief. The pain doesn't come from the stone itself, but from holding it too long. Many of us live like this, holding on to the past, holding on to pain, clinging to dreams of success, love unfinished, or fame not yet gained. Those things by themselves are not harmful, but when tied with greed and attachment, they become burdens. We seek happiness outside, in money, status, lovers, or success, but when attained, we feel emptiness, because nothing outside can fill the emptiness inside. That emptiness can only be healed by awareness. Awareness is not some magical state only saints achieve. It is the ability to come back, to recognize what's happening in your mind, without judgment, without escape. It is when you realize you are angry, but don't have to unleash it. It is when you are sad, but don't have to rush to feel the sadness. Just see, just breathe, and stay with it. Then you are no longer driven by emotions. You are the observer of emotions. There is a beautiful saying, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies freedom. Freedom does not come from running away from life, but from being able to choose how to respond. When someone insults you, you can get angry, or you can smile and stay silent. When facing hardship, you can complain, or see it as a lesson. Freedom lies there. If everyone learns to turn inward, recognize the animal within, the human part will have a chance to live. There is an ancient Indian story about a man crossing a forest. He encounters a fierce tiger and runs for his life, climbing a tree. Below the tree are two mice, one white, one black, gnawing the vine he's holding. Between them, a beehive drips honey into his mouth. Though he knows he is about to die, he closes his eyes and savors the sweetness. The story implies, life is impermanent, dangerous, and fragile. But if we don't know how to enjoy the sweetness of the present moment, life passes by wasted. So, where does the real solution lie? Not far away. No need to seek on mountain peaks or in thick books of the world. The solution lies right in this breath, in the moment you are living now. Instead of letting instinct lead, greed, hatred, delusion, pride, doubt, you can return to a simple act, mindfulness. Mindfulness is gentle awareness. It is when you drink tea, you just drink tea. When you listen to someone, you truly listen. When you breathe, you feel the air in and out through your nose. That's simple. That simplicity may seem small, but is the foundation of a life with wisdom. Because when you are fully present with the now, you are no longer caught in the whirlpool of illusions and suffering. From there, you begin to understand yourself. Understanding yourself is the door to peace. When you understand that anger only makes you more tired, you will stop. When you understand that endless desire is the source of suffering, you will gently let go. When you understand that everyone is struggling in their own pain, you will start to feel compassion. And when you feel compassion, you no longer want to defeat anyone. You only want to heal together. Healing doesn't start from the outside world. It starts within the heart. When the mind is calm, everything changes. Families become peaceful, communities become peaceful, and the world will have one less war. So if there is one thing you can do to change the world, it's not to try to do something great, but to sit down and take a deep breath. Every day, if you take a little time to return to yourself, to see clearly the waves of your emotions, to embrace the animal and nurture the human within you, that is the beginning of a miracle. We don't need more heroes out there. We need ordinary people who know how to live mindfully. And maybe one day, when enough people turn back to themselves, war will have no reason to exist. Ancient people didn't tell stories to scare or theorize. They told stories so we could see ourselves reflected. We are the ones dangling between life, both fleeing fear and chasing pleasure, while time silently gnaws the thread of existence. So, what can save us? Not power, nor money. The only thing that can save us is understanding. Understanding that everything changes. Understanding that emotions come and go. Understanding that others also suffer like us. Understanding that anger is a fire that burns both sides. And from that, learning to let go, learning to live slowly, learning to return. When the mind is no longer pushed by external conditions, when it is no longer manipulated by the lowest instincts, the war inside will calm down. And when the war inside calms, the war outside will have no reason to continue. You don't have to be a monk, a philosopher, or a social activist to create peace. You only need to start with yourself. When you stop, breathe deeply, listen to your heart. That is the first moment of peace. And if enough people do that, the world will change. Not by slogans, but by the peace spreading from the heart of each person. Lessons learned. Understanding yourself is the beginning of peace. When we know clearly our mind, when it's greedy, angry, or deluded, we can master our words and actions. Peace comes from inner understanding, not external conditions. Letting go is liberation, not escape. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning life, but letting go of wrong views and attachments causing suffering. When you learn to let go, you feel lighter, like releasing a hot stone from your hand. Every present moment is a chance for healing. Whether drinking tea, walking, or breathing, it can be meditation if done mindfully. Life is not somewhere far away, but right in this moment. No one needs to win in a meaningful life. When you realize others also suffer, you stop wanting to compete. Compassion helps you see yourself in others, and winning becomes unnecessary. Emotions are guests. You are the host. Greed, anger, and delusion come and go like waves. If you don't identify with them, you see they are only temporary rains in the vast sky of consciousness. Mindfulness is the key to freedom. True freedom is not reacting instinctively. It is when you can choose to smile instead of anger, to forgive instead of retaliate. External wars are shadows of inner wars. No war breaks out without inner conflict. When one reconciles with oneself, there is no reason to attack others. Happiness comes not from having more, but needing less. We are tired not because of lack, but because of wanting too much. Learning to be content is a step closer to true happiness. The mindful person lives fully present, no need for grand actions. Just truly listen, truly see, and truly love. That is enough. Thank you for taking the time to listen. If what I shared touches something in your heart, perhaps that is the starting point of awareness. You don't need to change the whole world today. Just turn inward, quietly observe yourself, and you have already planted a seed of peace. Wishing you a peaceful, gentle, and mindful day. See you again in the next mindful moment.